back to the Over the Shoulder podcast. This week we're going over the history of the Hardcore Championship. And once again, like every week, I am here with my co host, Rob. And who do we have this week as a guest co host?
Well, another great episode, Max, and really happy to have this gentleman on. Recently inducted to the Belt Addicts Anonymous Hall of Fame. Very has a strong, influential presence in the Impact Wrestling world. Part of Snaps and Straps. Just a great guy. Hell of a belt collector. I'm in awe, dude. So, Brandon, if you want to introduce yourself, go for it.
How you doing, guys? Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having me on. Excited to take this journey, this week's episode. I'm really excited.
Perfect. Short and sweet. We'll start off with the WCW Hardcore title. Now, I call it the version 1, and we'll get into it a bit later when we get to the other version. Now, this was, correct me if I'm wrong, the only version used on WCW TV. Am I correct? Or was the other version also used on TV?
No, this version was actually right here. This version was actually TV version used right here.
Exactly. So yeah, I call it the version 1 because it was another version, but it was the one that everyone knows. That is, of course, the one that Byron was holding, the WCW Hardcore title. And right off the bat, I mean, it has a bat on it, and it's just such a weirdly shaped belt, so unique. But honestly, I just really do love this belt. Rob, what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's a different leather cut. Like, holy shit. And crazy with the vertical nature here on the main plate. It's going to be a lot better, obviously, than the other belt that you are going to show later on with the V2 one. As far as it goes, though, I do love the main plate. It's unique. The side plates are really rectangle. They're a little far away from the main plate, but that's probably where it goes. I like the globe that they have. I really do. I like the writing with World Hardcore Champion. I like the hardcore on each of the side plates. I like the backing as well. The backing is really cool. I like the tooling that goes around the main plate, around the whole belt. I definitely do. I definitely do like this version. It's unique. It's cool to look at, but I know Brandon, he was just showing off his. Brandon, you can show the TV accurate. What do you think, man?
This belt is by far, I think, one of the most unique belts that J-Mart put out right before the WWE had bought them out. It has a really brunt look to it, especially like Max had said, the baseball bats. That's I think that's a great way to entitle hardcore with the barbed wire. You're initiating. It's a hardcore belt. Great design, but yeah, like you said, Rob, it's like one of those badass belts. It's just unique. It's it's one of a kind, you can say.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if I was really, really going to get nitpicky with the belt, I mean, you got a lot of leather here, you really do, and I mean, I just noticed it now with the cut. The cut, I don't know, it's a unique cut, it is, but then the main plate, it looks, I don't know, yeah, it kind of looks like I don't know, like an effing shield a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if it's like the light heavyweight. I don't know, maybe not like that, but the cut is just weird, and I can't get off of the damn cut because of the stupid nameplate. But I don't know.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the leather cut reminds me of almost mainly the top of the WCW United States title.
Yeah.
And to me, it just doesn't really fit this belt. I like the uniqueness of the main plate. I would probably make it a bit wider, considering how wide and like horizontal the side plates are. It's not a big issue. I do love the design, though, like the world. I love the letters on there. That's the one thing I really do like. Love how it's almost like blood, and the back for the world, it's like black. I love that so much. The paint on here looks amazing. I absolutely love the shade of blue on that globe, a very light baby blue. I think it looks great. Pops so much. I like the purple. It's a nice subtle touch. I just really like this belt, honestly. The leather, like you said, not my favorite. It to me doesn't fit this belt. I think a tighter cut would have helped it. Then again, it would make the belt look very small. So leather cut, I don't really love. The backing I love. I always love special backing, so I do like that.
You're absolutely
I
right.
mean,
So
it's a
you're,
pretty cool belt, and then we're gonna get into other hardcore titles. I think that most of them are always like trashed or beat up. The thing I like about this one is just it's still prestigious. When you think of a championship, you want it to look like an actual title, right? Not just some beat up. I mean, we'll talk about it later, like the WWF Hardcore title, just like a broken belt. This one is like a complete belt, and I really like it.
and you're absolutely right, Max. It does have a lot of similarities to the WCW 5-plater US title. I really think it does. They could have done a little bit better with the main plate, but you are right. This is a prestigious title, like the WWE hardcore ones or the WWF hardcore ones that we're going to be showing. But it's still a cool belt.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, like you were talking about the size of it with the people that have held the belt. They were a little bit bigger set. I think Norman Smiley was the smallest hardcore champion. And you got like Brian Knox. You got who else was the WCW? Finn Finley was it for like a split second. So there's a few people that held the belt that were a little bigger set. So, with them holding it, you're Shane Douglas, there you go right there. You had the Bam Bam Bigelow. He held the belt. It looked like, a Pop-Tart, to him. So, it just, but like you said, the layers of the front plate, Rob, I guess it initiates like blocks. The pillars, I guess, or the hardcore division. So, I mean, like I said, it's a unique belt. The one that you're gonna get into here in a second. Now that one we can just not even talk about.
Yeah, of course. You see Lance Storm holding the Saskatchewan hardcore title, and I don't know. I added this belt just to get your guys' opinions on it. Some people won't consider it a version or a official belt. I did. I mean, it's just a sticker, but it is a bit controversial. Guys, what do you think about this, Rob?
I don't know. I have to. I
think
it looks like. Well, I'm lost for words, and I mean, I think it looks like fucking ass. That's pretty much what I think it is, and especially, I'm sorry for us Canadians. Saskatchewan. Well, there you go, ass, right? I mean, seriously, it is a sticker, and I mean, I don't. I just think it looks absolutely horrendous. I really do, and it's like it's copying. It's totally copying the other version of the WCW hardcore title. It totally is.
Well, this is just a hardcore with a sticker on it. So
no, that's it. That's exactly it. But I mean, if I take a look at it, I mean, it looks absolutely stupid. I don't think. And then this picture also looks really dumb too, because on the other on the other shoulder, he's holding the women Canadian 100 kilo and under title. Like, I mean, like he's trying to come off as a hardcore, and then he's holding the fucking women's belt. Like, it's just.
Is it women or is it world?
It looks like women, or was it world? Oh, it says world.
World.
Shit. It actually says world there. Sorry, but it still looks.
No, but it still looks ridiculous. Yeah,
it still looks ridiculous.
I mean, with the gimmick at the time, I guess it makes sense. Brandon, what do you think about it?
The whole the storyline that they were doing with him at the time, he was just collecting belts. He was really popular when he had won the Cruiserweight Championship, and then he had actually gave away the Cruiserweight Championship to one of his teammates there. I can't remember who his name was. But when he did that, it was everybody that I had talked to, we were younger, but everyone that I had talked to thought it was pretty, stupid. So, I really don't have much, to say on it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It was a funny little gimmick that they did,
Yeah.
And eventually, when he lost them all, they just ripped that crap off.
Must have been a pain in the ass to whip that off.
That's why I wanted to know what was used, and if they had to use anything to clean all that, gunk off of it. But
I mean, you can't even use that much things on belts. The belts are delicate. You can't even you can't use wind. There's so many things you can't put on that belt. So I don't know. I pity for whoever had to clean up that belt. Next, I pity whoever designed this belt. And that is the version 2. Now, before we get into it, Brandon, can you give us a little history on the design of this belt and the story behind it?
All right, so the story behind it, what I was told is this is a JMAR print of this right here. This is technically the V1 Hardcore title. This is the JMAR belt, and with the licensing issue, he didn't want to sell the rights to it, or there's something that had happened with that, something that went south, and so they had to come up with this immaculate disaster of a fake zinc belt. But it's a part of the collection line, yeah, but it's not one of mine, so I had to get the actual version made, not this thing.
Yeah.
So I can't even call it a hardcore belt, I just call it the thing. So
and honestly, after seeing this, I have to agree. So if you guys have never seen this before, I'll give a warning. If you do appreciate belts, and you probably do if you're watching this, and you like good-looking belts, just proceed with caution. This is a pretty ugly belt. Now, God, I do have to say anything? Just look at that. Rob, what do you think about this?
Fuck me. It looks absolutely horrendous. I don't see these go. I don't know. I don't see these pop up that often. I don't. If I were to really critique it, though, I don't like the shape of the main plate. It looks like a fucking teardrop, or a pear shape. I don't know what the hell, if you want to call it. And then the distance, and again, and I'm on that distance crap from the main plate to the side plates. Again, too much leather. I mean, what are we trying to pull here? And then they've got a nameplate, a supposed nameplate that's underneath. I don't like the design. I really don't. And then just, man, like everything about this belt, like holy shit, it really blows. I don't like it. I don't, and I feel bad for our audience here. Having this up on the screen, it's almost like when we went over that Fiend belt and we went over that Eagle belt, right?
Yeah, that was a rough episode.
Brutal belts. Anyways, Brandon, what do you think, bro?
To confirm with you on the length of the plates from the main plate. JMAR did 2 fingers for every plate space. Dave Milliken and Red Parks, they all did 1 finger space for their plates.
What kind of fingers does this guy have? Holy shit!
This must have been the Big Show, or somebody that looks about a good 4 finger space gap, which right there, it really isn't a belt maker that did this belt, because usually nobody spaces a whole length that far from plate to plate. So that's said, it's just an all around. I actually saw it on Macari the other day. It's sold for like $60. So
yeah, and if anything, that's too much. I think this is just a horrible design. Like
$60, too much.
Like honestly, I would pay not to have this belt in my collection. Like it's so ugly. Well, like, I'm gonna tear into this belt. Honestly, first of all, there's so much paint. Like I don't mind paint on plates. It gives it pop. It gives it. It's what really brings the belt together. It just looks horrible. I mean, the paint job is so ugly, and the design, like, it's a shovel and like a crutch. Like,
looks like a crutch. Yeah.
I don't even understand. Like, who even uses a shovel? Does it at least put like a chair or like something people use? A shovel and a crutch just seems stupid. The WCW logo looks tacky with the red and the blue. There's flames behind it. The side plates look ridiculous. The shape is stupid. The main plate, same shit. Horrible shape. The nameplate is pissing me off so badly.
Oh, well, it doesn't belong.
It doesn't belong. First of all, it doesn't belong there. It's a hardcore title. It's going to be switching hands quickly, so I don't see the point of nameplate. And then it just looks so ugly. I mean, why does a blank nameplate have so much damn paint on it? Why does it have it looks like white paint around the screws and then black paint?
Yeah, like Max, and they totally fucked the globe up. Like, where's the rest of the world? I mean, like, where's the rest of it? Like,
it's on fire. there's a lot of fire going on in that belt. There's a huge fire going on. And I believe I went back and checked. There was never a shovel used in a WCW hardcore match. I just want to point that out too.
Such a dumb design. Such a stupid design. And like you guys saying the spacing, like, come on. Is that a joke? Is that a practical joke? Is he doing this like actually? Is this serious? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Leather's fine. I mean, can't really do much. It looks boring as hell, to be honest. At least add some backing to that to make it bearable. Just honestly, one of the ugliest belts I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, and I think I've only seen it in one other collection that I know of. And I don't know if they have it anymore, but I remember them getting this. And I still fucking hated it then, and I still fucking hate it now. So
I have one person that's a good friend of mine, Scott Prue, that lives in Scotland. He has that belt. Just because he has to have every single belt. Like me.
A hell of a collector.
Yeah. He's the Scotland collector.
Yeah.
I'm sending my condolences that he has this belt in his house. Like, so
it's tucked deep away. Okay. It's somewhere you can't even.
That's good. That's good. If he's a completist, I understand, but I gotta move on from this belt. I can spend the whole night talking shit about it, but let's move on.
Taking shit, no.
Moving on to the most famous version, of course, of this belt. It is the WWF Hardcore title. Now, everyone knows about this belt. I mean, when you think about Hardcore title, you instantly think about this belt. A very, very different belt. Even to this day, there's never really been anything similar to this. And, I mean, you guys already know what it looks like. It's the winged eagle, broken up, just torn apart, duct tape, spray paint. Give me your thoughts, Rob. What do you think about this belt?
I've always loved it, and I always think of Mankind, with it. I mean, and it was such a pity. You talk about the 24/7 championship when that was debuted, and I thought that they were bringing back the Hardcore title. That's what I thought, and then they brought back that circular shit. This title. A lot of history. I mean, and then I think about like one of the greatest hardcore champions like alive, was Crash Holly. I mean, back in the day. So, I mean, I think of Mankind, I think of Crash Holly. I like the way it looks. It's hardcore. It's extreme. Like it's supposed to look like that. It absolutely is. So I absolutely love it. And I think Brandon, like the precise date when this was debuted.
Ooh, all right, fellas. Now, this is one of my favorite belts, so I will get into depth detail with this one. This actually debuted on Raw November 2nd, 1998. That's the birth of the Hardcore Championship. It was defended the first time November 9th, 1998. It was Ken Shamrock versus Mankind. And then Mankind had won. And then the first time it had changed hands was in a ladder match between the Big Boss Man and Mankind. Then the Big Boss Man had won the belt, and then there was a little thing that had happened, and Al Snow had won the belt. And then the first pay-per-view was debuted, and it was the Valentine's Day Massacre. And that was probably one of the best hardcore matches in history. It was Al Snow versus Hardcore Holly. That was the first, 4 or 5 months of the hardcore title being introduced into the WWF. And I believe if that didn't happen, WWF would have taken a different turn for the worse, I think. This brought fans, this brought more action, more publicity. This was the first time WWF has gone to this extreme, and you got to give credit to ECW for pretty much every match was a hardcore match. So taking taking a little bit of this, and evolving it into WWF with having all these amazing people, the hardcore history, having all these wrestlers have this belt. I mean, you can go down the line with everybody that's, held this belt. This is one of the most prestigious belts in WWF history. I would put it probably in the top 3, top 4 maybe. With belts, because I mean, there's a lot of WWF belts in the Attitude Era that debuted. So in that sense, who was your favorite WWF Hardcore champion? That I know there's a lot of them. I know I'm sure you guys aren't, but I'm sure there's one person in your mind that just stuck out of all the, out of everything that you remember. Who do you think, Max? Who is your favorite?
I'm gonna be honest, probably Mankind. I mean, like the history behind it, right? Like watching back and looking back at how McMahon gave it to him, and even from the beginning, like you're saying about being prestigious, from the beginning he like saw the way he responded to getting that belt. It's like someone handed him like the world title, and I think that instantly elevated the title to the next level. And yeah, Rob, what about you?
Oh, Crash Holly. I mean, for the amount of times that he won it, it was just absolutely, and it was hilarious. It was fun. It was fun times seeing this belt change hands. I mean, how many times was that guy champ? Like, I mean, it was just unreal. So, I mean, I do think of Mankind, I do, but I really loved Crash Holly. I mean, with this belt, no question.
Now, we talked about the history. Let's talk about a little bit about the design. Now this is where people either you love it or you hate it. Speaking for myself, I'd say I love it. I love how unique it is. I mean, we're so used to gold plates on black leather, snaps, simple, easy, pristine, beautiful. And then getting a belt like this and them getting a title that everyone loves and respects, like the Winged Eagle. A lot of people's favorite belt, and having it all destroyed, duct tape, spray paint. I feel like for some people it's like blasphemy, but I love that. I love not sticking to tradition and doing something different. And just the design, the aesthetic alone, I think looks wonderful. I love how the plates are like kind of welded together, like pieces are welded together. The duct tape, the Hampian, of course. I love how the world is scratched away. Just so much about this is so unique. Rob, what do you think?
I agree with you. And I mean, is it prestigious? I don't know. I mean, but with the gimmick that it was, with the hardcore title. And like I said, when they brought back and when Mick Foley was going to the ring to release the 24/7 championship, I thought they were bringing back the hardcore title anyway. Yeah. I mean, the design here, there hasn't been a design like this. I mean, there absolutely hasn't. And I mean, when you produce a belt like this, and I mean, you've got a lot of leather, you do. I mean, fine, because the damn thing's broken. I mean, it really is. Like, it's broken, the tape and everything. The plates are all over the place. I love the way it looks. I do. I mean, I absolutely do. It's a cool belt. And like I said, I grew up around those days, the Attitude Era days. And I mean, I definitely did. For me, this was one of them. This was a big belt. And I know that, I mean, they've got the releases, with the 2001 releases, and we'll talk about replicas. And it's a great design. It really is. It's really cool.
Now, Brandon, what do you think about not the history of it, but just the design alone?
The
look. I mean, you're taking the #1 championship, smashing it up, putting some tape on it. It's beautiful. Like you said, it's rare. You'll probably never see a belt like this done again. Just in the fact that you're literally copying off of WWF, WWE, doing making this belt. So the history, the design, what they came together and did this belt. I just wish they would have done that with the 24/7 belt. I can understand why they didn't do that, Rob, because you're messing with history.
That's true.
Now, if they could take the 24/7 belt now and destroy it, and do something of that sort, just kind of if it's like the 20th 20 years 20-year anniversary, that's if that belt is still there, because how many I don't know how many years we're on the 24/7 belt, but I think that'd be a good 20-year anniversary to smash that thing up and rename it the 24/7 Hardcore Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, just like the problem is, man, like I mean, with the design that they have, the design looks something like this. It doesn't, but like I felt that they were a little bit lazy on the 24/7. The main plate is freaking just, I don't basic.
The side plates, like
side plates, what the
side
hell
plates is just blank and like lines.
blank.
Like, come on.
In this circle, like it's
a clock. It's like a clock.
It's a clock. Yeah.
I mean, I like the green strap. I'm not gonna lie, I do like the shade of the green, but that's the only thing I like about it. The main plate, I don't like circular main plates. Side plates, I mean, it's just like blank. There's nothing on there. And like Brandon was saying, it'd be so cool if someone just destroyed it. Like in Japan, I don't know if you watch New Japan. I don't watch too much of it, but I watch occasionally. Naito, when he had the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, and he would just throw it around, destroy it. And the white strap was black and dirty. The plates were falling apart, the stones. And I love that look, that grungy, destroyed. That's why I like the brass OIC. That's why I like the hardcore. That's why I love the IWGP V4 when it was on its deathbed, just like falling apart. I love that look. And if they could do that for the 27, I think it would look cool. Destroyed, I think it would look pretty good. I see some people do customs. Drop kick leather, I believe. He might have done that. Yeah, I believe he did that with a 24/7, and it looked really, really good. So I have to agree with you guys. Do you guys have any final thoughts on this design of the hardcore title, or do you guys want to move on to the next one?
No, I love it.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
Much.
Now, this next version, let's just go into it. It's the Tommy Dreamer's WWF Hardcore title, and come on, like,
what is he fucking doing?
What's disrespectful to this belt is that they took the European Championship.
That's exactly it, Brandon. That's exactly how I feel, bro. I mean, they took the European Championship and they destroyed it, and they made it look like absolute ass.
I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just, it has me left speechless. I don't. It's a European title with some patches on the side. I mean,
and why would you take the European Championship?
Why the? Like, I don't know.
Like, does he have some sort of disrespect toward that? Like, I mean, toward.
If they could have took maybe the WCW US Championship, because he's putting. Salute to the fire department and department. Major props to that. But if US belt, that would have maybe solidified that. But it's still, whatever.
The only reason I can think of them using that is because of the wide nameplate, so they can fit that stupid license plate on there. Because I can't really think of another belt that's wide enough so you can just fit a license plate perfectly. And then, of course, the WWE logo is still shown. They had to do that. It's just ridiculous.
Is he from New York?
I thought he was from New York. That's where
then I guess there's your answers to that.
But God,
he needs to be smacked in the face.
Oh my God, whose idea was it to do? Was it Tommy Dreamer? If so, I've lost a lot of respect for him. Honestly, like, what the hell is this?
Respect for him.
Come on, like,
he's been in the news.
It looks so ugly. It actually just aesthetically, how can anyone find this nice? Nothing about it makes sense. It's random. It's just thrown together. Is it supposed to be hardcore? Are you respecting, the fire department? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's just so out of nowhere. It's a license plate. God.
What part of New York? All New York? Is it like is all New York hardcore? I don't.
I don't
Staten
know.
Island, Bronx? I mean, is it just in general New York? Like I don't. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea.
This is probably one of the worst ones, honestly. I mean, the WCW at least it had a little bit, not too much, a little bit of thought put into it. But this just I hate this belt. Moving on, JBL, John Bradshaw Latefields, WWF Hardcore title, the Texas title, had one main plate, no side plates, just huge ass snaps. What do you guys think, Rob?
I think it looks like ass as well. Is it better than Tommy Dreamer? Yeah, it is better than Tommy
Yes.
Dreamer. It is. I guess we can talk about another Texas title being the WCW US title. It's like the Texas title, just because the flag is so screwed up. The shape of the main plate, yeah, I mean, the whole thing does nothing for me. I mean, are these guys trying to be funny? I mean, literally, I just don't get it. I really don't. I mean, but I would rather have this belt than the Tommy Dreamer one. I mean,
Yeah.
Shaw's probably a better guy, not saying too much. I mean, he's still a prick. But yeah, other than that, you can shed your comments. Go for it. Already put this one at once.
Brandon, what do you think?
All right, I'm gonna get into really detail with this one. I'm gonna start off with necks.
Yeah, pretty much. Please.
Basically, I mean, there's not much to go over. It has one plate. I never liked those belts. I don't care if it's traditional. I don't give a shit. It looks stupid.
It snaps all
The
the way around.
huge snaps going all the way around is just
Stupid.
for design. Like I never liked it on the NXT title when it was going all the way around. I don't like it on this one. Nameplate's fine. It's just a circle. That the leather's not going around. It's just stupid. I don't like this belt. It's not much to go about. It's just stupid. Um, Moving on to the replicas though.
These are the
We're
good
gonna
ones.
start off with the worst one first. I'm sorry you guys have to see this again. I really am. So Figures Inc. WCW Hardcore. They only came out with the shitty version. Unfortunately, they never came out with the one that was used on TV. And Brandon, do you want to explain a little bit why they couldn't do that?
All right, so now Figs Inc. was getting bought out by WWE, and then again they had a rush to make a belt, and at that time they, I believe, were not in talks with Jamar, so that he could sell them the templates to that plate or to that belt. So yeah. It's really, I mean, not much to say. It was just a rushed, put together belt that had a 4-finger length and plate to plate. I give it a -1.
Yeah, that's pretty generous. Yeah, unfortunately they couldn't. They can never make the good version. They only had this
Shitty
version, and I thought the real one looked bad. God damn it, the replica looks even worse. Like, holy shit.
Oh, and just to let you guys know also, this is actually Jmar templates for the Hardcore Championship right here. So
Yeah.
the actual plates.
That's beautiful.
That's gorgeous.
Seeing that belt makes me hate this belt even more. Like they went from that unique, beautiful design, to be honest, to this piece of shit. I mean, come on. The nameplate just pisses me off so much. The stupid flames, the dumb shovel on both sides. Like, it doesn't make sense. I don't know why they released this. I don't know why anyone would buy this belt. I know it's Figures Inc. And if you're a completist, I understand you have to get it, but don't display this belt. If you have to get it because you want your whole collection to be all the Figures Inc. belts, just keep it in a drawer. Like just throw it in the closet and just be like, I have it, but don't show it off.
Well, I mean, I am a Figures Inc. belt collector. I will not have this belt at all. Ugh. No thanks.
What if someone's offering for $60?
Yeah, no. No.
Yeah,
There's
$60 too much.
A lot more things I could buy with $60.
Yeah.
I had flushed money down the toilet before holding this belt. No way. Moving on to a good replica. Now this is Now, I believe you says talking about earlier 2 versions of this, and there was a red version which I have in the picture here, and then Rob does own a pretty rare one. Now,
Yes,
Brandon, can you tell us about the history between 2 different versions and how rare the blue one actually is?
Okay, so the one that I am in possession of is the 2001 Figures Inc. Championship. This one was made by Figs Inc., but this was then actually owned by WWF when they bought out WCW. So with the strap, you'll have a WWF logo next to the Figs Inc. The 1999 versions of the WCW Figs Inc. do not have the WWF logo on there because WCW did not buy them out yet, or WWF did not buy them out yet. So but now there are versions of the WCW Figs Inc. that have the WWF stamp logo on that. But the more rare ones are the ones that don't have the WWF logo stamp, and those are the ones that I am in possession of. I believe Jamie also is possession of one of your admins for your belt.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty awesome history. Like I said, this is this does not have the blue compared to what our boy has. Very rare. I only know one person that has it now. Well, 2 people that have it now. I know the third right here. This beautiful man right here. So this is the 2001 version, and I am a OCD person when it comes to belts. They have to be very mint for me to purchase them. So I had done this myself, and this is pretty much the exact everything you can replicate with when the black tape was released with that. So I have it with the wording. If you can see, you have bigger wording than it comes down here. And then when you look, the champion, the C is actually was ripped off. So you don't have the C that's on there. And then of course the WWF, and then you can always tell if it's official is you have the WWF stamp right there.
That's awesome.
But now to show the most rare belt of the hardcore Figs Inc. line.
Yeah,
of course, Rob, show us that beautiful belt.
Unreal. I never thought I would get this. I really didn't. Really, really cool. It's in really, really good shape. Not that bad. Just goes all the way across. And blue. And I like it too, because like the tip, like it's like kind of like screwed up, like it's supposed to be, right? And then really cool, like I said, I'm with Brandon. I like having mint belts. I really do. The mint that I can get, minty fresh, as Casey says. But as you can see here, I mean, it doesn't have the sticker on the back, but the back is in really good shape.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
I mean, it's so rare for Figures Inc. for not to be bubbling ever.
Didn't really, like I said.
And for the age, 20 years?
20 years. Didn't think I would get that one. Really nice.
Felt over me. Damn.
Yeah.
And this is what, and this is the debate. When I had first joined into these belt groups, you had a lot of people that were debating, a bootleg, replica is better than a Figs Inc. replica. Well, to your opinion, yes. But if you want to talk, resale, and you want to talk, money wise, a lot of people nowadays won't spend the $450, $500 for a Figs belt because they think they could get it cheaper, or they can get it somewhere else. I mean, you're gonna have people that don't know what they're doing on these off sites like Macari, eBay, that don't know what they're holding. For example, I had the WWF Women's Championship I had purchased on Macari for $90 because it was a female that had the belt. She had no idea what WWF was, so I had messed up on typing in the logo, the name, WWF belts. It's usually what I put, and so I had put WF belts, And so that was the only picture that popped up on Macari. $90 shipping, $90
Wow.
shipped. So I purchased
Shipping
it right
included.
away.
That's nice.
And when I got the belt, I had messaged her and I was like, "Hey, just to let you know, this belt was probably worth $490."
I like how
But
you said that after you got it. Just to
yeah,
secure
he
it.
said after the fact.
No, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, but yeah, little funny joke there. But yeah, if the now you gotta remember these are 25-year-old belts, so the argument that you're gonna have with a lot of these people that are big on bootleg belts. When I had first started, I was against bootlegs. I'll tell you guys that right now. I didn't believe in bootlegs. I thought it was the cheapest way to go. I thought you're cheating. But then once you get more acclimated into this hobby, you understand that it isn't about all that. You get because these are 2 millimeter plates, and it's cardboard leather. I mean, now there's your argument there. Well, oh, it's cardboard inside the leather. Well, back then they didn't have that. They didn't think of that. So now you got to take that in consideration. So if you're owning one of these belts, I know the economy is really bad right now, and I've seen a lot of Figsings belts going for bottom dollar because of the economy. I would just advise just to hold on to it. You're gonna get your money down the line. That's the whole point of if you're actually if you're trying to resell in the future, that there's more value in a Figsing belt than there is in a bootleg.
Yeah,
That's pretty much period. So but like I said, I'm not bashing because like I said, I make bootlegs, so I wouldn't even call them bootlegs, but that's just the proper term. So like I said, to sum all that up, it's personal opinion, and that's what a lot of people go off of nowadays instead of facts. So it's just all up to you and what you like.
And I have to completely agree with you, Brandon. Yes, especially if I usually recommend for people who are new to the hobby and you don't know too much, don't go straight to like I like to say like overseas makers because there are so many. And I see more like tiers to it. There's tiers to it. There's the bottom feeders like the United Belt Bros, and then there's a mid there's the middle ones, like a 350, 400, and then there's the high, like expensive classic shields, the high quality ones. And if you're okay with buying a cheap brass 2 millimeter belt, if it makes you happy,
go for it.
All for it. Like it really does not matter what anyone thinks. As long as you're happy and you enjoy your belt, that's all that matters. Doesn't matter if someone's like, oh, but it's unofficial. Oh, but it's not. It's only 2 millimeters. Who cares? That's your belt. But that being said, if you do own a United Belt Brothers belt, that doesn't count. That's a different category. Don't own that, please.
Yeah.
And like you were saying with Figures Inc., I used to be almost like the opposite. I was always for more boots, and I never saw the value in Figs Inc. belts, to be honest. Until I really started talking to more people. Rob, of course, Casey, Jamie, and of course you tonight. Like it really opens your mind to the value, and it's a rare piece. It's not about exactly the quality, which it sometimes is better qualities than some boots, but it's more about like the rarity and collection, and which I understand, and I don't think the hobby should be so much black and white. So like you only get official, you don't get there's always a in the middle, right?
Yeah, well, and also, I mean, I can even have and I mean, I might get ripped for this, all right, I will. So, I mean, you guys can definitely, whoever's watching this video. And I was having another conversation with another fellow bell collector that likes to collect Figures Inc. And that's when we get onto the topic of the re-releases of what WWE Shop has been putting out. As far as the accuracy, there was Hazard F5 brought up an accuracy problem with respect to the US spinner that was just released. Saw his video, you can go check it out. But I'm finding that I'm not liking all of these re-releases that WWE Shop has been putting out with respect to the Figures Inc. belts. I really, really don't. And some of the differences are definitely noticeable. And in my personal opinion, doesn't mean that any opinion it's going to be, mine's the only opinion. It isn't. I'm a Figures Inc. belt collector. I would rather have the Figures Inc. version. Do I have shop belts in my collection? Of course I have shop belts in my collection. I do. But I do have a lot of Figures Inc. belts in my collection. I do. I mean, like, ladies and gentlemen, if I look at that one in the case up there, the WWF Andre 87 Figures Inc. I mean, if they were to try to re-release that on WWE Shop, I mean, like, give me a freaking break. Like, it's not even gonna be coming close. It isn't. It absolutely is not. I mean, Figures
and of course, sorry to interrupt you, but you're not gonna get that logo. WWF logo. You're gonna get the WW logo in.
No. And I mean, yeah, 2mm belt, 2mm plates, guys. Okay, fine. And maybe the straps are not that great. But I mean, the Figures Inc. belt collector myself, Brandon, you're a Figures Inc. belt collector. I mean, you've got it too. You know what it is. I mean, I find that people who are new into the hobby, they're not going to know about that. They're not going to know about the rarity of the Figures Inc. belts. They're not. Would I rather have Figures Inc.? Of course I would. I'd rather take the Figures Inc. version. It's just like the rated R spinner that I'm actually going to be getting. I'm getting the Figures Inc. version. I'm not getting the shop version because there are inaccuracies between the belts. I mean, I know that people are not going to know about that. They're not. But when you're in the hobby, definitely you'll find out these differences. You would. And I mean, I'm not knocking on people getting re-released versions. I'm not for the shop belts. And I'm not also knocking on if you want to go have a bootleg made or a non-licensed belt. Don't get it from United Brothers Belts. Definitely do not. You can go with a higher end maker. You can go with Nawaz. I'm not going to say the other version, the other guy who I fucking hate. Classic Shields. There are other guys, definitely, but for me, Figures Inc. belt collector. I am a Figures Inc. belt collector. I mean, the ones behind me, they're Figures Inc. I mean, Brandon, I don't know if you can attest to it. You'd rather have a Figures Inc. version than the shop version.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Yeah.
I understand what they're doing. We have this saying in Impact, try hard. You're try hard, trying to replicate something that's already been done. And because, and what WWE has done since doing all these belts, they literally have a guy sitting at a computer designing these belts. And then they're a $1 billion company, so they have lasers, they have all this technology to do the belts. So there's no passion, there's no love, there's no wrestler input. There's some guy that has no clue about history of wrestling designing belts for WWE. So I mean, it is what it is. But like I said, everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their love for what they like. So they said they have some good belts. I mean, there's some decent belts. Like I said, I've held every single WWE belt. Now, would I keep them? No, but that's just you got to have that. What I was always taught growing up. If you can touch it, see it, look at it. If you love it, you keep it. If you don't love it, you get rid of it. You sell it. Like you said, Max, it's pretty cut, clear and dry. It's black and white. So just to everyone's opinion. Pretty much.
Yeah, and to speak on the re-release, I just think some of them are a hit. Like I would say, like the Ruthless Aggression Raw tags are pretty nice, and those are pretty good. Not so much a SmackDown, but the Raw ones are pretty decent. And I mean, if they're on a good sale or someone's selling one of them re-leathered, I'd probably pick it up because I love that belt. But to me, some of them are missing the spot, like the US spinner or even like to an extent the hardcore title. We're going to go over the
6mm plates. Everything is 6mm plates.
Yeah.
They're. I mean, people love that. People love the thickness of the plates. So that's just too gaudy for me.
Yeah, and then you look at the back and it's hollow. But I just think the reason I don't mind the re-releases is I think it's more options for people, right? Like not everyone can get a Fig Zinc like Rob or Brandon and get all the Fig Zincs, and it's hard, especially if you're new to the hobby. And you're like, you watch the network, you're like, oh, I like that Ruthless Aggression Raw tag, I want to buy it, and then it's just not so much now, but before it's like kind of hard. You don't know where to find, you don't know where to look. You're just kind of lost, and you're like, oh, this is Fig Zinc one, but it's $400, $500. Am I getting scammed? Is it too much? It's easy for people, right? It gives more options, and I mean, I'm for it. You don't have to buy it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Who cares? But it's an option for people. Um, I wish they would have tried a lot harder on their belts, though. Like sometimes you can tell when WWE Shop wants to, they'll make good belts. When they
Yes.
do like their undisputed V2, that one I have one complaint, the
Yeah,
paint. The paint. Other than that, though, design wise, the artwork looks amazing.
it was good.
So when they try, they can make good belts. Sometimes they just don't give a shit and they just push out anything. Um, well, no, going back to the hardcore titles though, this next version is a 2006 Figures Inc. WWF re-release with the Raw bag, and it's basically the exact same belt. It's very hard to find some good pictures of this, so sorry for the very grainy picture. It's just a Raw bag, pretty similar, pretty rare too. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's nice. I definitely like it. I mean, definitely a lot of course. I mean, they re-released it. I do, but
Hmm.
I mean, if I were, it's almost like re-releasing WWE shop belts, right?
Yeah,
What would I go after, guys? I go after the
the
2001
rare.
Link, the
Yeah.
one that Brandon has. So
I feel like this one's like the weird middle child. Like it's not
yeah,
new, but it's not old, and it's like,
yeah. I go after the 2001.
yeah, for sure.
So
Brandon, what do you think?
Uh, I mean, it's in my opinion, it's literally the same thing. It's
Yeah,
just they the rarity and the need for that belt, the demand for that belt. They had to release it.
right.
So I mean, that's pretty much I think my knowledge. My only reason why they did that, just because the 2001 version, but say you can't. It's one of the rarest belts.
Yeah,
You find it, and if you do find it, it's 500 and up.
yeah,
So it's going to be a payment plan. If you're really invested into it.
exactly.
But like I said, same thing, just different backing with the stamp. '06 instead of '01
Yeah,
or '05, whatever year that one came out.
yeah,
yeah,
not a huge difference. Now moving on to the 2010 Figures Inc. This one is a bigger. This is a noticeable difference. Now I put it as a WWE hardcore,
Hmm.
but the plates were WWF, but then the tape WWE. Uh, do you guys know why they did this, or like I don't really understand the point of that. I I really don't like.
Again, this was a version that you could they had to come out with something because there again there's the demand for the belt. So Ringside had to make a very small amount of them to align
Hmm,
to make just to get the belt, because like I said, it's a very popular. It's one of the most popular belts. The rating, I believe, at ringside was over 7. I think 7.5 was the rating for the hardcore belt. So
hmm.
that's one of the highest ratings for ringside belts. So like I said, another variation that had to be released because of the demand.
Right.
And the plates, they had the 2001s, the left and right plate of the right side of the belt had the full plate just broken off and laid on top of. So they tried to copy off of what Rob has. Rob has all the plates
Yeah,
on the belt. If you look at the '01, you're missing that plate, no plate, half a plate, and then the plate
Like a
right there.
quarter.
So like I said, you're missing you're missing 3 extra plates. So that was, Rob, can you show yours just so that, you get an understanding?
Yeah, no, it's no. Version. I don't know. Just go. Yeah, just it's all the way around.
Literally, if you see the pictures from his to that picture that's on the screen, it's literally the same thing. They just copied it to get it out there.
Yeah. How much? If you saw this for sale, how much would you want to pay for it? If you would even want to pay for it, just say you don't have a hardcore title, and then you see this on sale. How much would you want to pay for it?
How much would I want to pay for it?
How much would you be willing to pay? No, I know free, but like how much would you be willing to pay?
I mean, the rarity of it, like you said, I think there's 250 of them made, so it'd be in the 500s. You'd have to. I mean, that'd be the lowest. I mean, somebody would be stupid not, to drop it at lower than that.
Yeah, Rob, what about you?
Well, I'm not one to talk because I would pay whatever.
Oh, we know that with the Evolution, you're willing to pay.
For man, I'll tell you, Brandon. And I mean, I'm not going to say who it was, okay, but I did offer someone $2,300 US for the women's Evolution belt, and I was turned down. So, yeah, so it goes to show you how much I would pay for a belt, and it's a shop belt too. I mean,
the crazy thing.
I will pay money.
If Rob wants it, he's gonna get it.
I want it.
Doesn't matter how much it is.
I want it.
Now, moving on to the 2020 WWE shop release. This one is very, I don't know. Some people either like it or you don't. Me, I don't know. Here it is. Of course, it has the WWE on the tape. WW, they can't do anything about it. They can't replicate the WWF plates. Honestly, I don't like how burnt it looks. Almost like on the main plate, it has too much of it. I know it had on some of them, but it almost looks like it has it on every plate. It seems very. I'll check the website, but it looks like it's burnt on every single plate, which I don't think is accurate. Rob, what do you think about it?
It's yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, the burnt doesn't look very good.
Too much.
I think it's too much. Unique thing about these belts, guys, I guess that no belt is identical. Like you're going to get a different belt. That's what is on the website. Yeah. Really cool though. And I think WWE shop really confused some people. And when they gave this and they put a backing on this belt, and then we were like, oh, are all the belts now going to become with backings because of this belt and everything? But they only did it because there's so many flipping screws. So that's why they
gave us false hope.
Yeah. I mean, the thickness of the plates, 6 millimeter, and you get burnt main plate. I guess. Okay. Yeah. I mean, would I get this belt? No. Sorry. I wouldn't. And I'm not knocking on the people who would get this belt. Okay. I'm not knocking it because I do know a lot of people that do have this belt. I wouldn't. I wouldn't get it.
And one thing I don't like too much before Brian goes is the paint. It looks like actual paint, like brushes. It doesn't look like spray paint. It just looks like someone just brushed it, especially the red one, just like took a brush just lightly. It should look like spray paint. This just doesn't look good. I'm looking on the website right now. The gold tip has like paint splatter.
Yeah.
And every single plate is burnt. And it doesn't even look burnt. It just looks like Sharpie. It doesn't look good, honestly. 6 millimeter plates, but I mean, the Winged Eagle's never that thick, so I don't know why the replica has to be that thick. Right? Like, I think your belt shouldn't be... I mean, personal preference. I wouldn't get a belt thicker than the actual real belt was. And the real belt was not 6 millimeters. So, Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah. You were going to say something, Rob?
No, I was just going to say Casey would probably disagree with all of us being on here because he does own this belt. But anyways,
this is why Casey needs to be on here, because I think he's like, he'd have that.
When he's watching, he's probably just clamoring, just like a rabid dog.
He's like, oh crap.
But yeah, they messed up with this one. They could have done a lot better. Way too much blue on the outer sides. The belt, the blue is literally on just like a few spots on the actual belt. There might not even been blue on it. If I want to, I think they took that from Rob's version and implemented that into that. The black, there was never black on the front plate. Like you said, Max, there's literally like black spray paint or whatever they are trying to burn, whatever you want to call it, on the belt. The duct tape looks like it's plastic tape instead of actual. It literally looks like the foam version of the Hardcore Championship, but with 6mm plates and a leather strap.
Also, sorry, go ahead.
No, but yeah, just to finish with this one, yeah, not impressed. No reason to put 6mm plates, but like, with these newcomers into this belt hobby, they think the thicker the better, and
exactly it. They think the thicker the better.
I agree.
The tape is not really. It's not really tape, is it? It's like different.
I think it's actually.
Is it actual tape? Because I don't think so.
But it's like a weird material. I watched
it was a different material that they had.
Does it say? Yeah, what does it say on there? I wonder. They probably don't even tell you.
No.
Nope. Just says hand assembled. Yeah, like Rob said, no two Hardcore Championship replicas will be the same. Each is individually hand assembled with great detail. Come on, like the one thing that's just pissing me off is the hole, the screw hole where the plate should have been. You can literally see the foam. You can see the foam, and it just looks so silly there. Like,
you don't want holes.
Come on.
You want holes in our belts.
It just looks ridiculous. It looks like someone got like those like hole punchers and just going through the first layer of that thick cardboard and went to the styrofoam. It looks bad. It's like foam.
It absolutely does. And I know Casey's going to be watching this. So Casey, if you want to drop a comment below, you can definitely comment on your belt, because I know you have this belt in your collection. I know you're probably going to disagree with us three amigos, but unfortunately, I know you're not here to voice your opinion. But
can't defend himself.
I mean, a hole. Like, did they take a drill and they just drilled it on the left side of that plate? Plus, they burnt it. No, it's not the burnt hardcore.
Now, this is the end of the official replicas. Mm-hmm. Now, this next one is a custom that I got made, and that is the custom WWE Network logo title. I made into a hardcore title, and CJ Knox did that. If you haven't heard of him, he's a great guy, king of hardcore. He's just a great guy, and there it is. It is basically the story behind this is I saw CJ Knox was doing a lot of winged eagles, so he'd get a winged eagle or any belt, but he was mostly doing winged eagles, of course. And people would ship him winged eagles, and he'd just beat the shit out of it, break the plates, spray paint it, duct tape it. And at the time, I didn't have a winged eagle, and I didn't have too many belts, but I did have a commemorative. This is a commemorative WWE Championship on my shelf. It was missing stones. It was looking pretty rough, to be honest, and I didn't like it anymore. It's collecting dust. So I asked him if he could make it into hardcore. He said, of course, I'll give it a shot. And I think he did a great job. I mean, some people hate this belt. I'm going to be honest. When I post it in the groups, people are like, that's horrendous, or people like it. So personally, I really do like it. It's a very unique belt. And you can see the plate. The plates are actually broken. Actual duct tape, not like shop. You can see there throughout the belt. And the tip is messed up too. Scratched up, painted. Backing, it's just simple backing, but you can see the duct tapes going around. Screw there. It's a really cool belt, honestly, and he still does his service. You can do it for any belt, you can do it for a 24/7 title and it'll look badass. I believe he did that before. It's a pretty cool one. What do you guys think, honestly? If you guys hate it, go ahead and hate on it.
No, and I actually like it. And unlike a former host of our Over the Shoulder podcast, Mike Morano, thought that wasn't great. I mean, Mike, I mean, I got to be honest, dude. Some of your belts, no, bro.
Fiend.
I mean, Fiend.
I don't know, man.
Even the eco-friendly belt, man. I mean, like I said, Mike. I mean, I'm not going to get next day shipping for that shit. If I really, really want a belt like that, I'll just go take a dump in my toilet and I'll take that poo out of it, and that'll be the belt right there, bro. So, anyways, I absolutely love that belt, Max. I really do. I think it's unique. You know what? You've got a lot of different belts in your collection. You
Yeah.
do. That one's really cool, and I think CJ hit a home run with that. I
Oh
really
yeah,
do.
he did.
And I mean, as what you were saying, it was collecting dust, it was missing stones, and if he was offering the service, and I don't think he even charged you that much. I think you told me, but
No, it wasn't
I
much.
think it looks great. I really, really do. I like what he did with it. The blue is really cool. I'd rather have your belt than have the shop belt. There you go.
And Brandon, what do you think?
I like it, dude. When I had first saw it on there, it's unique. It's definitely unique. I think aren't you like one of the first ones to have
I think Dropkick Leather did one, but he did like a SmackDown all blue version.
Yeah.
This one's more
No,
the
this
colors of the hardcore.
Yeah, I like it. What was did you have any input on it, or did you just let him
I mostly gave him a free run. I just didn't want any yellow spray paint. He was gonna do yellow. He did yellow. I didn't like the yellow, so I was like, stick to the blue and red. And I'm glad I did because I don't like the yellow too much. He did ask if you wanted to paint the sides. You know, the strap usually has tooling in the WWE logo. I asked him to spray paint it, and then he painted the WWE logo, which I think looks really cool. It looks like that's honestly one of my personal little favorite details on it.
Yeah.
He did that by hand. It's really
love
cool.
the
Added tape over.
Yeah, and I mean, CJ's been posting on the groups, and I've been seeing him, and you know, a lot of people have been giving him a lot of flack for all the crap that they do. And you know what? I got to be honest, people. I mean, if you're one of those people that are watching our episode here, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay, you guys have no idea, and you guys have probably not been in the belt collecting hobby for as long as we have. I mean, CJ, what he does is he's making these belts a reality. He absolutely is. Are his versions better than the shop? I don't know. They're pretty much there. I mean, they're a lot better. They absolutely are.
I saw a comparison between Winged Eagle that he poured up and made it real, and it looks way
Yeah.
better,
Yeah.
better. So honestly, I would 100% if you wanted an accurate, and he can. There's so many. We didn't go over every single version because we'd be here until tomorrow of the hardcore title. There were so many slight changes, and CJ knows that he has made
Knows it.
so many accurate versions, like slight details, like the paint was here or this was here, and he does that. He does exactly like it was, and that's one thing I like. He pays attention to details, and just a great guy. So this was my custom network logo title. Now that does bring us to the end of the podcast. We don't have any more hardcore titles to show. Now, Rob, how do you usually like to end the podcast?
Well, what we like to do, of course, here at Over the Shoulder Podcast is we like to put the belt over our shoulder. Before we do that, though, Max, maybe we can give our audience what we are going to be doing next week.
Yeah, and I want to do a bit of a announcement for next week with the belt that I'm blowing over my shoulder. I'm actually doing 2 belts this week, and that is because we're not going over 1 belt next week. No. We're going over all of the AEW World Championships, the history behind them, every version of the TNT Championship from the unfinished version to the current Sammy Guevara title, the 2 versions of the AEW tags and the slight changes, of course, the 2 women's titles, and there have been a few slight changes in the AEW title. We're going over some replicas, the official replica, the belt they use on TV. So yeah, that's going to be next week, me and Rob. Rob, what do you have over your shoulder this week?
Well, it's, of course, the hardcore.
That rare beauty.
The hardcore, the rare beauty here.
And Brandon, what do you have over your shoulder?
Well, since we talked about it in this segment, I'm going to beat the hardcore belt.
That's amazing. Well, I think it's a perfect way to end the episode. Guys, make sure to check out last week's episode. We went over the history of the WCW, NWA, and WWE United States Championship, the call-in. Of course, next week we're going over the AEW titles. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next episode.